I'm Nick Roush. That's Adam Luckett. This is 11 Personnel presented to you by Monticello Bank. It's Thursday. We are ripping and roaring the final Thursday of February. It's almost March. The madness has nearly arrived, and with it comes spring practice. The doldrums of February almost over. Luckett, in your power rankings of months, where does February fall?
It's towards the bottom, but it's not last.
Is August last?
It's in the bottom third. I'd have to think about it.
Because the presence of the Super Bowl being in February and the fact that it's shorter, usually during conference play, like that,
January would be my answer, probably worst month.
Yeah, but you got playoff football. And
but you have to fake like, oh, I'm going to be healthy. And then if you're actually trying to work out, people just get in your way. It's like, what are you doing? Get out of here. Football's ending. College football is over. Most of the years, my favorite NFL team is not in the playoffs, so I just don't care. You're waiting for the draft stuff to get here. So that is towards the bottom. And then weirdly, my birthday's in July, so at least I have that to look forward to in July.
Yeah. Well,
I would say January. I know a lot of people say February. A lot of people say August, but August, there's actually there's real football going on in August, and it's like the start of it. So to me, that's more towards the top.
See, I in July we get media days, but that's more exciting than training camp because fall camp kind of sucks. Media day's fun when you're getting around all the players and stuff, but they get so tired of talking to us after about 2 weeks, and then it's just like, can we get here? I feel like my patience is at its thinnest in August. It's hot, kids are going back to school, getting them into a routine. They're pissing and moaning. It's just I don't like it. I don't like it. I have enjoyed at least the college basketball this month has been top notch. It's been a pretty decent TV month for the Roushes too. We got a Traders finale tonight. We had Survivor start last night. Those are my non-sports sports, right? They might as well be. So
See, for me, May is in my bottom three. So I don't think it would be in your top three. I feel like.
Yeah. Well, I almost like the anticipation for Derby as much as actual Derby. But I do go to the track quite a bit in May, even after it's over. They have a night race for Preakness where you watch the Preakness at Churchill. That's a great time. But May, you're getting it's warmer weather. You're outside a bunch. T-ball is Baker getting T-ball this year?
First year T-ball.
Oh,
yeah. We're getting the gear tomorrow. He's got a couple weeks till he starts, but we're getting the gear. So yeah, that'll be fun. May in general, it's just Derby, and then it's just it's kind of the malaise month, right? Baseball, the professional Major League Baseball starts, but you're kind of it
doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and then you're to me, baseball really starts getting good into June, July, because then if you're going to be in it or not.
May is when you fake yourself into thinking that the team is good, right? You watch the Reds and you're like, am I going to get my hopes up again this year? Or it's the one time where you're like, well, this is when I can watch it because they're still technically in it before they kind of lose their way out of it.
Yeah, and if I think they change the college football calendar, I think they're going to, I think May could end up being a real big month. But we'll see if that happens.
Yeah, I when is the college basketball portal opening? Did they change it?
The week of the Final Four, the week after. Yeah, it's not where it was last, where it was the day after the second round games, I think. It's the Final Four week, or it's the day after, the week after the Final Four. It's in April.
Okay. But by May, you're right. May, there's not a whole lot going on. But it's Derby, baby. Which, did you know this year they're racing the Oaks at 8:30 at night? It's going to be a long day for you.
I do remember that now that you just said it.
Yeah.
I had forgot.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm going to be like, I'm going to be walking home from the track at 9:30. It's just, I mean, boozing 12 hours later. So that's going to be it's going to be a marathon.
Is that like we're going to try this out thing?
Well, we're going to try to make as much money as we can because you can put it on NBC. So you get more eyeballs, you get more people to like, oh, there's a horse race on. Okay. Yeah. I'll place a bet real quick. So that's what they're going for. Because previously at 6:30, you don't get the people coming home from work popping on the TV, and it's like, oh, okay, I'll watch this horse race. So yeah, I'm getting very excited. And especially if things aren't going as well for basketball, it's 60 degrees outside. It feels like Derby, so I'm fired up for it. We're not here to talk about that though. We are here to talk about Kentucky football, where folks they're going to get out and about, enjoying themselves before games. And it could look a little bit different in the future. We'll discuss the proposals for the Kroger Field Entertainment District in just a moment, along with a few of your favorite stories around the college football world and what happened today at the NFL Combine. But first, I got to remind you about our friends at Monticello Bank, proud presenting sponsors of 11 Personnel for a very long time. Not as long as they've been in business, though, since 1895. 1895? I mean, Roosters definitely wasn't around. Did Fern Creek exist when Monticello Bank started like it? Was Bullard even a county,
I have no idea. I would say no.
I bet there was a mountain in Washington, but was it Mount Washington? We don't know. What we do know is that Monticello Bank has been in business that long, a very long time, because at Monticello Bank, it's where people matter. They put the people there first. Whatever your banking needs may be, they got you covered at Monticello Bank. You can check them out online, nbcbank.com, or visit them in person at one of their convenient locations. Monticello Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Brief aside. Quick question: How was the 10K?
Great weather.
Nonsense.
Weather helped a ton. Last 3/4 of a mile were tough, but we pushed through and made it. The worst part of the race, Nick, was they tell us it starts at a certain time, and there were so many people there that we just had to stand there essentially for 30 minutes waiting on the race to start.
Oh, because all of the like it just takes that long for the runners to get moving.
I don't know. They'll let 30 or 40 people go, stop people, let 30 or 40 people go, stop. So that took forever. So that was honestly the worst part. Once we got going, it was fine. Great scenery for the race. It was a flat run.
Oh, yeah. It's nice.
Which helps a ton. But
desert, not known for its mountains.
Definitely not my PR. But we made it through. I made it through, and then I had probably my best night gambling was that night.
Oh, there we go.
So I had a little double dip there. That was a good time.
So did we make enough to where we didn't? Because I feel like when you're gambling, if you only lose the money you brought intentionally to lose, then it's a huge win.
Yeah, I mean, I had half of what I intended to lose still left. So
yeah, that's a great.
And if it wasn't, we actually were doing really well. Or not, I wouldn't say really well. We had a chance to win money going into the last day.
And then the cards weren't hitting.
It got a little away from us. But overall, we did honestly, didn't have the best of luck at the sports book. Obviously, you know how the Kentucky game ended. But there was also a Knicks beat that was a brutal beat for myself. Knicks Rockets on Saturday. Knicks are down big. They come storming back. The line's like 3.5. They get up 4 with free throws. And with 8 seconds left, Durant just hits a 3. And I was like, well, there goes that. That would have been a hell of a kind of pull one out of your ass there. Yeah. And then also I had Bama minus 7.5, and they were up the entire game. And then Matt McMahon would not stop fouling, and then they opened the door just enough, and they lost. I think it was Bama minus 7.5, and Bama won by 7. So I was like, oh, it's gonna be one of those weekends while I'm here.
Yeah, that's always fun. Are you blackjack exclusively? Will you do the different pokers? Will you dabble with craps at all? Throw a little dice?
I've done craps before. I didn't do it this time. Mostly blackjack, and really I hit big on roulette. this weekend.
Ooh, little
It was
wheel.
the first time.
Do you
Yeah.
number or color?
Both. I got a unit for the color, a unit for the number, and then you just kind of let it ride. And if you hit basically you're going to be, if you play that way, as long as you just don't get, blindsided, you're going to be close to even. And then if you just hit the number once, you're in a good spot, and then maybe kind of, increase the value after that. Basically, I hit a number 4 times in 7 hands was kind of how I
that'll do it.
So I was like, this is a good time. I can play this game more. And then the strategies didn't work out as well roulette the next day.
Well, part of the reason I asked is because we have a new sponsor coming that might help us with our running struggles, which we're really going to have to put Peak to work documenting our athletic feat by doing what just like humans were. Now, I wouldn't say meant to do, but like the most basic instinct, fight or flight. Like it's one of the two things. We've got to figure out how to flight, and we've got a sponsor who's going to help us out. So I'm excited to see, because Pete could make us look really dumb, and I'm all here for it. I'm all here for it. Although I gotta say, Bucket, it has felt good to do this, and I actually feel. Not just feel better, but like I'm getting like my times are getting faster, and I'm not as like dead afterwards. It's like, this is kind of cool. Like I ran over the hills at Iroquois Park today, and I was like, oh, that was pretty easy. Like, what? You used to die doing this. So like that part, it's been kind of nice. So we are by no means athletes, but we are trying to be athletic. I don't think we can sit here. It would be very hypocritical of us to criticize athletes on the regular if we weren't at least putting our best bad foot forward.
Yeah, I joked on Pump It Up this week. I'm like a 22 handicap runner. Just out here trying not to look like an idiot. And trying to finish. Yeah, just trying to finish in like a decent time. That's basically my running.
Giving you a few strokes is shorten it to 10 miles.
Well, in the running, like I'm trying to not take any mulligans here. So So, but also trying to like not come close to whatever they said the time limits on some of these runs. Try not to come close to that.
Keep it out of the water. All right, no injuries. Right, we'll be good to go. We'll live to fight another day. Thank you all for fighting along with us for 12 minutes. We're being a little extra silly tonight because why the hell not? There hadn't been a whole lot going on in February outside of some recruiting news, some official visits getting scheduled. 4-star edge Miles Smith is the latest big name to schedule a visit. He's a top 50 player in the class from Michigan. And pulling back the curtain, Mr. Luckett, when we see these visits, it's usually on my For You tab of one of these kids who tweets out the graphic and his date. So what I'll do is all right, let's go to the database. We'll update that. Put the visit in there just so it's there. Make it easy for us. Try to stay organized like you with your spreadsheet. Well, I looked up Miles Smith and I said, damn, Jay Bateman, look at you, dude. This kid's committed to A&M and he's a top 10 player from Inglewood, California. Kentucky's getting a top 10 player from Inglewood, Florida to visit? Damn. Oh, wait. There's something wrong in the database. Why would somebody spell his name Miles, Myels? What? I mean, that huge oversight. How do you mess up a name? Look, that's the first thing you learn in journalism school, right? You got to get the names right. All right. Names. I don't want to fix that in the database, but I'll just go in and I'll fix it real quick. Well, I was glad that I did a second Google search because there are 2 top 50 edge players named Miles Smith. One is Myels Smith from Inglewood, California. The other is Miles Smith from Farmington, Michigan. Yeah. Also, is Myels? Like, do we not? It feels like a Dwayne Wade situation. Like the Y does not go before the W. The Y does not go before the E and the L. What are we doing? Or it's just not how you spell Miles. What are we doing here?
When I first started with On3, I was doing some stuff for our Clemson site. and there was a linebacker in Louisiana named Tackett Curtis. I was convinced we had his name wrong.
Which, yeah,
Tackett's the last name, Curtis is the first name.
Yeah,
this is simple. Someone just kind of messed that up. It's no big deal. And I was like, I'll go in and fix this. And then I was told, no, that's his name. I was like, oh, okay. So that's a good lesson, and just double check.
Yeah, got to keep it buttoned up. Got to double check. But there's some more. Steve Wilfong talked to him today too, so that's on KSR Plus. If you aren't on KSR Plus, you should be. We're having a lot of fun there. We're mixing it up, cutting it up. Join us. But Mr. Luckett, the big story of the week from the Kentucky football program, entertainment district. This is something that has been talked about ever since we started this revenue sharing era. Mitch Barnhart, he has his analogy. You got buckets of money, and we're trying to add new buckets. Kroger Field is the largest revenue generator for the UK athletics department. So first order of business, UK athletics converts to Champions Blue LLC. Champions Blue LLC says, how do we get our biggest money maker to make more money? Some of it, like they've already done, they've had the concerts. They've had about one a year. They're not having one this year because they're upgrading the moneymaker. They're expanding suite areas. And I believe part of that is also renovating the ones that are in the corners. But if you go to the game, the spring game in April, you'll notice there's stuff all over the place. That they're basically tidying up, trying to maximize as many of these luxury experiences as possible, because those are the big money makers. But the other one, like it's what we're seeing at a lot of different places, the entertainment district. Oklahoma's spending $1 billion to put their basketball arena basically inside one. It's going to be this huge development along with it. And Tennessee is spending big for their entertainment district by Neyland Stadium. Like this is not a new concept, and we kind of knew this was coming down the pike. Generally speaking, before you saw the proposals, were you for it? Were you against it? Do you think there's an appetite for this sort of thing at the University of Kentucky?
I am for it, because I think to do this, they're going to have to be more proactive about having events at like this facility and having things there. So if you're doing it, I think, it can work. I even think there's places for it, and it's kind of one of the models is exactly how I thought they would do it.
Mm-hmm. Which was your preferred one? Was
the one where they just knock out the community college, put it right there.
BCTC, yes, that is. They've got
the BCTC on Newtown, right? They got that big sprawling campus over there.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the reason they built that was so they could get that out of there, and it's here 10 years later, still hanging on.
That is the Cooper Connector, the first of 4 proposals that the architecture firm shared. I don't know if Peak has it pulled up. I don't know how.
They've got all that grass right over there that's just like sitting there, right? They've got the little 3 buildings for the community college, all sitting right there. They got that grass area. Like there's places for hotels, a restaurant strip, and then I think they want to do like that watch party thing for whenever Kentucky's having big games that you could sit there. To me, it just makes sense to put it there. You don't have to touch the tennis center. You don't have to touch any of your kind of built-in athletic facilities you have over there.
Right.
You just have the property right there, and it's on kind of a, Cooper's not a main strip, but a lot of people drive down that road. It's not. You can build a couple parking garages over there to add, and that would even like almost add to parking. And you don't have to take away parking from anyone or the university, which is a big deal, because they don't have they have no parking when we go over there. And people were, like it's media. People don't want to hear media people complain about it, but I think there's employees upset that they can't park anywhere. Right now. Like parking's just a disaster over there right now. So they could add maybe a couple garages right there. To me, that is the place to put it. I've always thought that made the most sense to put it right there, because there's really nothing there.
Yeah, except an eyesore of a building that I mean, but no offense to the folks who attended that BCTC, but it looked like the old Kerwin Blanding. I mean, it was that era. And
Yeah.
I will say the reason why I believe that this is their top choice is because it actually does involve moving the tennis center. So they would put a big building where the intramural fields are currently. The intramural fields would move up a block to where the tennis center currently is, and then they're going to move the new tennis center to next to Kentucky Proud Park.
So
Mitch wants this new tennis center, and this is a way for him to get it kind of lumped in with something else.
So where the old flag football fields were, where like the Johnson Center treadmills looked out of.
Yes,
they're going to move those to where the Boone Center is now.
Correct. Yes, and
they would build like a parking structure or whatever there where the old intramural fields were.
Currently, it looks like the biggest building that they're going to build in this whole entertainment district. It looks like if you look in your bottom left corner, that looks like the largest sort of deal, and it makes sense because it's further away, so you can have like a bookstore and a couple of restaurants there, or maybe that's your lodging, right? Because I think the biggest way to guarantee revenue is with lodging. I'm a little skeptical about retail and all of that because it'll take some time to get people in the habit of going down there. But brother, you can always sell hotels at a hotel on campus. I mean, that would be coveted. I mean, for even the just non-football weekends when you want to come see little Sarah, where she's having some big sorority, it's Dance Blue weekend or something like that, or it's Greek Sing or something. Like that would be a huge coveted space.
It's not just that like tennis is having a tournament or track and field's doing something.
Yeah,
or
hosting the kids KHSAA stuff. You know,
or your kids, working out at a UK football camp over the summer, or playing in a 7-on-7 tournament at Kroger Field. Yeah, I just think there would be some demand specifically for the hotels, and then with hotels, just having a couple of restaurants within walking distance, so people don't have to get out of their cars.
Now, this first one, the Cooper connector. That is the one we were talking about right now that's on your screen. That is the only one that changes the north side of the stadium. And to your point, I think there's minimal changes, and I mean it gets rid of completely that lot to the left side, but you're adding 3 garages, and I actually think it does the least amount of it has the least amount of disruption for the parking. I know that's a huge concern. All of the other proposals focus on the side of the stadium near the orange and red lots. So this one here is the linear corridor one that would put the sort of buildings really right next to the stadium, which could make it maybe feel a little bit cozier. There are also 2 others that kind of just vary that are similar. The University Crossroads, and then the central green. It moves the green space to where the red lot currently is instead of the ugly old BCTC, which I don't mind that one. I think, though, to your point, Luckett, doesn't it feel like the orange and red lots are the most popular tailgating spots for a certain fan?
That's the ones I've always known to and go to. That's where like my friends go. So I know there's a lot of people in the orange lot that are upset because it seems like they're always the ones just getting it whenever the change comes.
Right.
They're having to eat the punch down there. Yeah. So,
well, and the other part, if you do the first plan, I mean, it flows towards the catwalk, like you don't have to walk all the way to the other side of the stadium to see the facility. That part's nice. And here's one other thing I'd like to say about parking before we move on, because I don't think everybody who watches, listens, enjoys 11 personnel, enjoys Kentucky football, has had the pleasure of visiting all of Kentucky's SEC cohorts. It doesn't matter what Kentucky does with this entertainment district. The parking situation is still going to be better than 95% of the rest of the SEC. Now, having been to Oklahoma, and I haven't done an Alabama game day.
Their
I
park
think
is not bad, but it's nothing. I mean, it's a lot of walking.
It's
A lot of
still
walking
spread
around.
out. Right. I think Mississippi State might be the only school that comes close to Kentucky when it comes to convenience and parking.
I would say South Carolina.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And there's nothing around there either.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, they're the Louisville of the SEC. They just put the stadium on a fairgrounds.
Right. But like, when people see this and they say this takes away from our game day, like this is the best part of game day. I hear you, but that might be just for you. I think the thing that Texas does better than anyone is that you don't have to have a setup to go enjoy a tailgate game day atmosphere. And what something like this does, like it lets the guy who goes to one game a year just show up. I mean, you might be parking farther away, but you can go do all the game day stuff without having to have the expensive on-lot parking pass. You might be parking at KS Bar and shuttling over. You might pick the garage over by Willie T. That's kind of it.
What I did, I parked on Waller when I was going to get last time I was a season ticket holder, and then just walked up and bebop to people's tailgates. Where now, like, we just might have just walked up to this. I know there's a lot of people against it because they think it's taken like. I get it. You think it's because like if it becomes more corporate, then it's going to become less fun, probably. But I just think it makes a lot of sense, specifically where we're headed and where we're going. You need to make more revenue. Well, it just makes sense to have something here to try to make some money for these big football weekends. It would be really nice. And then I think about, if college baseball is getting a big bump in popularity, and if it continues to grow, and say Kentucky becomes like a consistent kind of thing where they're hosting tournaments, in the postseason, like that thing's gonna that weekend it's going to be popping. If Kentucky ever gets back to basketball where they're going to tournaments, making runs, that over there, it's like you can have watch parties, and it can be
instead of at the Tin Roof parking lot,
Right. Well, it could just be Kentucky wins a basketball national championship. There's the picture from '96 over there on
Woodland.
Woodland. Instead,
State Street. State Street's gone.
The next big picture is this. People are just there.
Yeah.
Like in theory, that's how it should work. So we'll see. I think it makes sense because you've got to make revenue. The thing that frustrated me the most about kind of last year is like that it felt like Kentucky wasn't trying to sell tickets. And it's like, this is one of your biggest money makers. Just the gate. Like just getting butts in the seats. And you had all these kind of, I thought, premium home games. Good times, good weather, good part of the year. Like these games, you only have a 61,000 seat stadium. These games need to be sold out for you to make the money you need to be making. And they just weren't. I felt like it just weren't like, what are we doing here? So I think it's good that because they do have to make more money. And this is the move. All the like pro teams everywhere are doing this. Like the Braves get a lot of credit for the Battery, which I've never been to, but I've heard glowing reviews about. Tampa's building a new stadium, Nick.
Yep.
The Rays, they're building in a district around it. The Jags are doing it. The Browns are going to do it. It's just kind of what
the Bucks did it last year. The Bucks at the NCAA tournament, Fizz for them. Yeah,
the Bucks have it, and they showed it when they were in the finals when they were rolling there with Giannis. So it just makes sense to build them and then build like a thing around it instead of just having it there. And then I think moving forward for Kentucky, you've got to do stuff at the stadium like concerts and stuff like that.
I've got a Brian Windhorst meme too. Put my fingers in the air. And it's kind of what Po Billy alludes to is that it could truly work if you have all of your sports there. All right, Mr. Luckett. We know the basketball team is working on getting a facility, a new practice facility. That's kind of long down the road, but it's going to be attached to UK Healthcare Sports Medicine. UK Healthcare, right next to all of this at Kroger Field. You could put the new practice facility there. I think where this could end up making/saving Kentucky the most money is giving them leverage in their next negotiation with Rupp Arena. Because the city of Lexington owns the Lexington Center, Convention Center, whatever they call that, all over there. Central Bank Center. They own all of that, and they just put a bunch of money and signed a lease. I remember, was it Stivers and Matt getting into it on the radio a long time ago about Rupp? Like this was a huge deal.
Like 10 years ago.
Yeah. And then they end up re-upping the lease. Well, I believe it'll be like 2033, give or take, something along those lines. Kentucky's never had leverage. They're kind of stuck with Rupp. So when they go into these negotiations for a lease agreement, they can tell them, they can ask them for stuff. But the city of Lexington, are they going to make them the sweetest deal? No, of course not. Because that's their biggest moneymaker is Kentucky basketball, right? Building an entertainment district and having this footprint available, having the practice facility nearby, this could give them legit leverage. They could say, you know what? That arena's too big. College sports have changed. We're going to do a 15,000-seat arena next to Kroger Field.
Yeah, state of the art.
Yeah. Instead of your old turd polished one, we're gonna have suites in it, right? Because that's the other thing too. Rupp doesn't have any suites. Like they upsell and have the bar areas, but that doesn't matter now that you can buy beer everywhere.
Well, right in the orange light. It's a long orange light.
But that's my kind of now. I don't know if they'll ultimately get to that. I doubt they would eventually get to it because that would be hundreds of millions of dollars to build a new home of Kentucky basketball. But at least it gives them leverage where if you can save $30 million, or I don't know what they're paying, but if you save $50 million on your lease agreement that you would have normally had to spend, like that's the overall thing. I know it's probably over the lifetime of it, but that's a couple of years of rev share, right? And like that's what this is all about. So just something to think about.
It would be quite the power move for Mitch Barnhart in year 33 or whatever it would be as athletic director.
Oh, man. Speaking of moves, we need to make some moves over to the BetMGM app. It's a great time of the year to be scrolling through the BetMGM app. You want to know something I really enjoy dabbling with right now? Friday night Atlantic 10 basketball. Atlantic 10 Missouri
plays.
Oh man, it's kind of like Maction, but like betting on Miami, Ohio games or St. Louis games or a random Dayton versus VCU. Oh, you mean the home team? Only 2.5 point favorite? Okay, sure. Sign me up. Why not? I'm signing up on BetMGM, and when you sign up and use bonus code ON3, you're going to get a first bet offer up to $1,500 back on bonus bets if your bet doesn't hit. And in addition to that, you're going to get 50% off a subscription to ON3. It's a win-win-win when you sign up with BetMGM and use that bonus code ON3. It's pretty simple. You just download that app, deposit at least $10. That first bet doesn't hit, you're going to get it all back in bonus bets up to $1,500. So use that bonus code ON3 when you sign up at BetMGM. March is almost here. Make it legendary. Make it one for the history books with BetMGM. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Got a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in the U.S., 1-877-8-HOPE-NY, or text HOPE-NY New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona, 1-800-327-5050 in Massachusetts, 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa, 1-800-981-0023 in Puerto Rico. That first bet offers for new customers only, subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Another event that I always bet on BetMGM every year, Mr. Luckett, it's an American tradition. It's the Army-Navy game. It's the only football game on that weekend. This year was a little weird. We had a late-night bowl game, I think the LA Bowl or something. That was a little off. But still, everybody watches Army-Navy. You have to. It's our obligation as Americans to do it. And it might be moving. It could be moving. the college football playoff. They're trying to figure out all their expansion stuff like it. And Army-Navy has always had its place there. And they were content, even when they joined a conference, to say, this is bigger than all that. We don't need it for conference standings. We'll do it without the conference standings. We'll just keep playing it as is, as we always have. Well, now Jeff Monken, Todd Monken, Cleveland Browns coach. People forget that. Jeff Monken saying, you know what? I'm up to moving it Thanksgiving weekend. Navy's AD has pushed back on it. He doesn't really want to because it's huge having it as a standalone game for them from like a revenue standpoint. He's worried it might get lost in the wash. Mr. Luckett, are you on Army side or are you on Navy side in this issue about staying or moving the game?
I think it needs to move because for the sport, they need to have like playoff games on that day. Like if they're going to move up the calendar, they're going to need that game to play playoff games. I would love to put it on Thanksgiving Day, play it at 11 a.m. or something. But, you're going up against NFL, so I get why maybe they wouldn't want to do that.
I could be down Black Friday. I mean, I know
if you want to make it a marquee game on Black Friday. Yeah. I think that would work.
Yeah. Put it at 6:00, Ari Wasserman, our On3 colleague, he had the proposal to make it a week 0 game.
No.
So here's the thing. The idea in principle works for a second. Because for the second, you're thinking, okay.
This game needs to be played in chilly weather.
Exactly. Like, I can't imagine this game being played.
End of the season when both these teams are my thoughts on this, Nick. All these rivalry games need to be played at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Don't mess with that. Like, even like Kansas State, what are you doing? Play that game last.
I like the thought of, like, that would be a great way to get the juices flowing, particularly when week 0 usually gives us kind of duddy matchups. But
I understand why maybe yes from that angle, but this game needs.
I can't watch the two triple option teams playing 80-degree weather.
Yeah, I can't watch these teams playing in the 90-degree Philly heat.
Can you even? I mean, have they played an Army-Navy game where a snow flurry has not fallen? I feel like every year there's some sort of snow. It may not be completely covering the ground.
It always looks like
snow in the air.
Either miserable or moderately miserable outside. And that's how that game needs to be played every year. But I'm a big proponent of, I think it's fine if, for me at least, I would like it on that window, but that needs to be played in cold weather. All these games, I think it's really important. Even if we move the season up, we have to keep that rivalry week intact, because even with the playoff stuff, I think you still feel it that week, just how important that is. I mean, Ohio State, Michigan's a perfect example, right? Michigan made Ohio State have an identity crisis. Like when they had the best team in the country. Now they end up winning it, but they were really looking themselves in the mirror, just like.
It's almost like Ryan Day had to win a national championship to not get fired.
I mean, they made them winning that game made Ohio State's life a living hell for 2 weeks. And then they could have just said, "Well, you should thank us for winning getting your team ready to win the national championship."
Yeah.
And then they can hold the win over them. Oh, we beat this big team you paid all this money for. We beat them in your house. So I think it's still, to me, I think it still matters a lot. I don't want them to lose that. That needs to be like a huge part of our season, is having those games at the end of the year, because, and even I think it sets up where if you're going to the playoffs, a lot of teams are going to have to win that game, and you got to go play the team that hates your guts, right? That would love nothing more than to just beat you, where other teams, maybe they're having bad years, will just throw the towel in, where in theory that should never happen in these types of games. Like Georgia Tech was a huge game this year and ended up being kind of a good game. I just think those matter a lot.
It's why, divisional games are the last weekend of the NFL season. Steelers, Ravens.
So they have right, because do the math. these games are going to have to, like the stuff that happened with the Panthers this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like simultaneously, they needed the they had to win or something, and they needed or they lost like that Saturday, and they needed someone to lose, and it was the Falcons were playing someone in Atlanta, and there were hundreds of Panthers fans
that went to
the game, and they showed them cheering in the stands after because I can't. The Saints beat the Falcons. I don't know how it worked out, but
it was stupid and ended up working out for the Panthers because they needed the Saints to beat the Bucks, and I think that happened, or it was the other way around. Whatever happened, it worked out for the Panthers. Which I guess, while we're in the NFL, shout out to David Gusta, former Kentucky defensive tackle, man. He was
big man move in there. Yeah.
He was hauling some ass. 308 pounds, ran a 4.88. His get off was what was most second fastest 10-second split. I think 1.68 seconds or something like that. He wasn't too far behind the edge players, like some of the top edge players when it comes to that get off. And that's for me. Luckett, I like when we get a chance to go up to the combine every so often. Just the atmosphere and just being a part of the NFL kind of zoo for a little bit and getting to see all these guys kind of in one place. I don't read a ton into these. My biggest thing is when you go out there and do those drills, I know everybody is all like, they train just to, what's the word? Like maximize their outputs in these underwear Olympics, as Freddie used to call them.
Yes.
The biggest, just have whatever you put out there, match the tape, right? Like as long as there's nothing out here, these guys all know what you're capable of. So just don't don't tank it, right? Be who we think you are. And that's David Goose's MO. I'm an explosive disruptor in the backfield. Slant me, stunt me, because I've got a great get off. Here, let me just go post an awesome 10-second split in my 40-yard dash. Boom. That's how you go from undrafted free agent to 7th round pick.
Yeah, I think every player is different. What I always say, Nick, just you are drafting or basically you're hiring this person to do a job that takes athletic skill. So I want the best athletes possible. I don't think that's crazy. Yeah. So if you're not testing well, it's like, okay. If I got a safety that doesn't run great, and he's got to run against all these guys that can absolutely fly, I'm always a little like, okay, I got to go. I really have to be sure here. And for Gusta, I think you look at him, he's a small defensive tackle, just is. It's a big man game, and he's small for the position. So for him, I think the athletic testing, not necessarily long speed, but just the explosiveness and the agility scores are going to be important for him. And I don't know if going to Kentucky playing in their scheme really helped him.
Yeah.
Because that's not if he's going to make it in the NFL, that's not how he's going to play, how he played last year.
No, not at all. But he did pop when they needed him to.
He had some moments. I wonder if he just got kind of worn down and he was having to play a lot of kind of, kind of two-gap nose for them, where really I thought how Kentucky is playing defense now, where I think they're going to be more of an aggressive – they're going to be multiple, but it's going to be a lot more of kind of an aggressive attacking single gap style.
Yeah.
And I think that fits him more. And I think that, if he gets drafted, it'll be a team like that. But I think it was really important for him, the testing. He needed to show that he was explosive and quick and twitchy. And I think he did that today. And then I even think Pro Day will be big for him, see if he can improve on some of those numbers.
He tested today along with the edge players, the Sonny Styles. He's 6'5", 240, and his numbers are like DK Metcalf, but he's 20 pounds heavier. It's insane. My favorite guys though, Luckett, are the guys who don't look the part but still kick ass. Kyle Hamilton is who's in my mind. Now, granted, I think he needed to go to a place like Baltimore to be able to be empowered to use all of his skills. He still had a good RAS because of his measurables, but I mean the guy am I reading that right? A 5.58 40? That can't be right.
That'd be tough.
That's not right. Either way. Hold up. Here we go. Matt.
Are you reading the score? Are you reading the score? Are you reading the score instead of
I was reading the score. Yeah, sorry. 4.59. Still, like he all of his athletic testing was like in the yellow. It was like just mid. But he's a great football player. The guy who showed up today, and I kind of think that's going to happen, is Bain from Miami. And my favorite quote that a dude showed up without a haircut, didn't get lined up, nothing. That guy, he just loves ball. He's just going to go out there and he's going to ball for you. I don't care how short his arms are. I think it's the second shortest arms by a defensive lineman ever at the NFL Combine. I don't care if that guy's he's a ball player. He's going to figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm sold on him.
Yeah, but one thing I'd say, like all these edge rushers, the good ones, if you go and look up their RAS, they're all got good RAS scores. It's you want that's the freakiest of the freaks. So
yeah, no, I'm not saying he's going to be a Myles Garrett, but like this is a guy because he's going to be what middle into first round, probably.
Bain's going. I mean, he's getting top 10 buzz. I don't think he's going to be there for the Bengals at 10.
Because he strikes me as a great. He's not. Who is the guy before Hendrickson with the Bengals that they had on the edge? Their 4-3 defensive end.
Talking about Dunlap?
Dunlap? Like Carlos Dunlap was a 7 to 9 sacks a year, where he was never leading the NFL, but he was good for 12 years. That's what Bain reminds me of. Just like that dude, we're gonna look up in 30 years from now, or like it's gonna be 2040, and we'll be like, man, freaking Desmond Bain is just still out there throwing guys around.
Yeah, pending how he tests, he's like the opposite of Shamar Stewart. Like if he doesn't test well, he's like the opposite. Like undersized, doesn't have the length you want. He's not really a true edge bender. He's more of an inside power rusher. So is he going to be able to overpower these people? But then he's got tape of just with him just being specifically this past year. The year before he kind of took a step back after his freshman year, but this past year, I mean, he just specifically in the playoffs, he was awesome throughout the whole run. But this draft in general, Nick, I think David Bailey and Bain are both going to go top 10 edge rushers, where I think there's some years where they're in the 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 range. It's kind of a weird draft. There's no real quarterbacks. I think Caleb Downs is probably the best player in the draft, but he's a safety. So someone going to take him at 4 or 3. It's going
to be wonky because there's not an easy.
Well, you can make the case the 3 best players played in Columbus: Reese, Downs, and Sonny Styles. And the only one that plays a premium position is Reese. And Reese, he's got the kind of, he might be like that spinner linebacker where he's going to play, you got to use him in packages. He can't play out there all the time. He's like 240 pounds or whatever.
He's also only done it. He did it for a year. You don't.
Yeah. So you could I think there's good players on this draft. I actually think, in a weird way, you might almost really rather be picking 15 through 25.
Right.
But
and if you need a tight end, it's a great draft to get a tight end in the 3rd round. I mean, there's going to be some awesome.
Well, I think there's some good linemen. There's going to be some good old lineman options there from, I think, 15 to 35 if you need tackle help. But they don't have the kind of blue chips, and it starts with the quarterbacks, even the receivers. I'm kind of like, someone going to take Carnell Tate 5th? It feels Jordan Tyson 9th. That feels aggressive for those guys. But that's probably what's going to be what happens. So corner at LSU, Mansour Delane, he's getting top 10 buzz.
An LSU defensive player.
He was good this year, but I didn't I'd have to go back and watch. But I didn't ever think that. But it's just a weird draft that way because I think there's depth in the draft. They just don't have the high-end star power, which is something I think you wrote about. What to make of these teams when they don't have the star power, because depth can only get you so far.
That's true. But it does make for the second day a little bit more exciting if you really are a junkie. NFL draft, though, still a month away. A bunch of cats aren't competing in the combine until this weekend. Quarterbacks are throwing to running backs and receivers on Saturday. That's when we could see Kendrick Law test. He could be a monster in that. Seth McGowan's also participating. And then on Sunday, we have the linemen. There's a handful of linemen: Josh Braun, Jagger Burton, and am I missing? Is that it?
Jalen Farmer.
Jalen Farmer. There we go. They'll all be competing on Sunday at the NFL Combine. 1 o'clock is the start time for your coverage on NFL Network, and we're covered by Friends of Cole, friendsofcolekentucky.org. Cole's resilient, reliable, affordable, been a part of the States Pass, and they're ready to be here for the future. Visit friendsofcolekentucky.org. Friends of Cole did not have the South Carolina Gamecocks covered, Mr. Luckett. Didn't have them covered.
Do you see Beamer's comments on do you believe them if you've seen them?
So Shane Beamer, he spent a lot of money on Jacarius Peak, who's the number one offensive tackle in the transfer portal from NC State. They did retain one of their offensive tackles. I forget his name, Javon Bowden something. I don't know.
Messiah Thompson.
There we go. I was all over the place. But hey, they got one of their OTs back. They bring in another one. It's like, okay, this looks like something here. And Jacarius Peak got injured in a 3-on-3 basketball tournament that was organized by the program. So not only was he playing basketball, Luckett, he was injured in the South Carolina basketball 3-on-3 or South Carolina football 3-on-3 tournament.
Yeah, let me stop you there. Do you think football players shouldn't play basketball in the summer if they're healthy? Like, obviously, I don't want you out there if you're dealing with something. I think they should be able to.
I think they should too. I would.
Cardio. Like, what's the difference from doing that and jumping up and down in the gym somewhere? What training?
Yeah, I would maybe just not make it like an official team activity, right? Like stick to cornhole for your team bonding activities. Maybe not do the thing that gets you injured. You know, I dabble in some old man basketball, Luckett. You know how you don't get injured in old man basketball? You don't lead the floor. Well,
don't give max effort.
Yeah, exactly. These guys, they're too competitive. They'll give max effort. It's a great way to get hurt. Beamer said, I, as the head coach, believe in fostering team camaraderie. Believe that we get a lot out of it. It's fun what we do as a team, but it's also really beneficial for us coaches to be able to watch these guys compete. I just think that all of the other activities they do that he mentioned, like wiffle ball, volleyball, dodgeball, they are significant. There's nothing that hurts you more than basketball. Have you seen Mark Pope's basketball teams? They're all injured, all right? So, like,
it's a team thing. It's kind of weird, but I don't mind that they're going out there playing.
Yeah, I would always expect a handful. Lynn Bowden would dunk on dudes at the JC.
When I played, they were all out there. Johnson Center, the football team was out there
running for hours. Great basketball player was offensive guard Nick Haynes. Like, that dude could do, like, between the legs, windmill. Like, he was a big boy, and he was great on the hardwood. But, nevertheless, this happens. Peak gets a big injury. Do you believe that this is not a serious injury, according to Beamer?
No, I do not. So sorry. If you would tell me, I would maybe. But he did. Did he say the injury?
He said he will miss spring practice. He will not be fully clear in the summer, but we anticipate him being ready to roll when September rolls around.
Okay.
He didn't get his specifics. Called it lower leg.
If that's the case, why not just tell us?
He probably broke his ankle and it requires surgery.
So it's not. We don't think it because I think someone reported Achilles. Is that what?
If it's Achilles, then they're taken to the bone zone.
I thought I'd read somewhere. Maybe I just made that up because that's what I assume when you think like catastrophic. You think ACL or Achilles, really?
Yeah.
Thing.
And he said it's not catastrophic, though. Definitely not catastrophic.
Okay, so it's definitely more than a sprained ankle.
100%. Something requires surgery. So I think at minimum it's a broken ankle or broken foot.
Broken foot might be it. He might have broke his foot. That happens on basketball.
Which is like a 3 to 4 month. For a big guy, you can be back in 3 to 4 months. Taking it slow.
I'll be interested to see just what this timeline is.
Because that would put him back.
Because you know how these football coaches are with these injuries, right?
Oh, yeah. Well,
I'll be back in 6 weeks, and it's like, well, my math of 6 weeks is not your math of 6 weeks, I feel like, with some of these injuries.
Well, Josiah Hayes did his Achilles in April and played in November. So if it was an Achilles for this guy in February, in theory, you think, well, maybe September.
Speaking of other weird developments for the Kentucky football season last year was Josiah Hayes and whatever happened.
Yeah, he just didn't. They quit playing him. That was odd.
Just like 4 games in, he just disappeared.
Yeah, that was he even on? He wasn't even on the sidelines, was he? They didn't put him through senior day.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that was odd. Is Achilles the new blown out knee? Because I feel like when we were kids, it was blown out knee. Then it became the ACL injury, and now I feel like it's Tommy John or Achilles.
In NBA circles, there's a lot of worry because Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton were both players in their prime.
Yeah.
And Achilles was always known as kind of the old man injury. Like in the NBA, that's just what
John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins got it kind of. They weren't all. They
Kobe got it. Like Kobe got it when he was older.
Yeah.
That was Kobe's injury. When he was older. So it was always known as kind of, that was just like after you played 12, 13, 14 years. There's worry now, and I think LeBron has said this. Playing basketball, he says, is harder now than it was when I was first got in the league in my first 8 years in the league, because there's more possessions, there's more threes, the pace is up, and so if you're playing all these games, like you're putting a lot more miles on, within a game, and then these playoffs are so long, stretched out.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much basketball. You add in with Tatum, he was doing the Olympic stuff, right? Yep. He was on that last Olympics team. So there's worry in the NBA. It's a lot of this I think might just be due to the wear and tear of our season. And I think there's going to be a pushback whenever they do the new CBA to kind of minimize games, but it's going to be hard to get rid of games because that's where a lot of their
TV money,
the value in their TV money is the inventory.
Yeah, I even saw one of the NBA guys had a long form about he actually quantified the additional mileage on players, and it makes sense. But I will say, it's not just for them. There's a 20-year-old guy on Survivor who blew his Achilles out in their first show last night. Just trying to run up a thing, boom, Achilles, he's done.
Well, I think there's also
it's crazy.
Human beings evolve, get bigger, faster, stronger.
Yeah.
Look at the combine. Yes, they're training more, but these guys are just bigger, faster. So what is the unintended maybe consequence to that, or what goes up must come down kind of thing? Mm-hmm. Maybe that's the injury that your body becomes more susceptible to if you play in these sports over a long period of time.
The Greeks, man, they were onto it with the mythology. You got to watch out for that tricky heel. We're going to get out of here. But did you see the stand-up routine in Gainesville while you were out in Vegas?
I've seen John Summerall go on 800 podcasts.
Okay.
Every time I get online, he's talking to someone else.
Yeah. Well, that's not the real doozy. They had the Steve Spurrier Awards and Kirby Smart.
I did see this.
And Mario Cristobal. The part that was funny is that Mario Cristobal's bit, Burnin' Kirby, went viral first. and Kirby's kind of just like gritting his teeth, just taking it. I'm like, damn, what did like? I think they're boys, but like this feels a little harsh. Kirby just got to go to the stage first and throw his jokes out, and Mario was like, "Oh, so we're going there? All right, I'll go there." And I would enjoy it more if we could get back to coaches just saying what they feel instead of all this bullshit we get now from them. Like, just talk. Just be real here. We would like you. You're paying millions of dollars. We would like you a lot more if you just said what you feel instead of whatever this garbage they give us on a regular basis. You don't all have to be Nick Saban robots. Just talk. Be humans. Look it. Did you know that one time Howard Schnellenberger and Bobby Bowden got in a boxing ring to promote Florida State, Miami? Like they like
no, but coaches used to do weird stuff like that.
Yeah. Can we have a little more fun with this stupid sport we're in? Like, not everything has to be so damn buttoned up.
Do you think that stems from Saban? Like a lot of this, like this buttoned up.
I think there were like one of two ways to do it, and then Saban ascended during social media, and some of those people had to deal with, clips and stuff taken out of context. So they decided, all right, Saban's way is just the easier way to deal with it.
That's a good point because they didn't grow up in social media.
Right.
So like when the coaches like our age or younger that have been more around it and have been on camera more and are used to seeing themselves on camera, hearing themselves, will they be more kind of open to it and being less robotic?
It's a great experiment that we're gonna find out with the new Kentucky head coach. Which, by the way, I found out he's hanging out with our guy Chuck Oliver tomorrow. You ever go on with the king of college football?
I've not been on Chuck Oliver's show, but I have.
Yeah,
I know he's doing his little. Will Stein's doing his little. Little media tour, national media tour, or whatever.
Oh, which by the way, we should be speaking to a Kentucky assistant coach next week. This was working this week to get him on this week for the no huddle edition of 11 personnel, but they were up at the combine, and then I tried getting somebody else, and he was sick. So we're juggling, but I have a feeling you all are going to enjoy that conversation coming early next week. So don't worry, I didn't let you down this week. It'll be a doozy next week. Dude, I'll leave anything out, Luckett, before we go. We got the Trayers tonight. Tray for Tray.
Position preview.
Oh, yeah.
It started. Quarterback's up. Really, the only thing, my big takeaway quarterback after writing this is like, it's not stuff we've talked about before. Like they're just banking on Kenny Minchie, Nick. I think like you look at Will Stein. Here's the thing I'll say about Kenny Minchie, big picture. When you look at Will Stein, these offenses, it's all been led by the quarterback. So I look at it as if we're a production team getting ready to call a game for ESPN and we're calling a Kentucky game, or in the past, if you called Will Stein games, you're always leading off talking about the quarterback.
Correct.
Frank Harris had this big year. Bo Nix is doing it again under a new coordinator. Dylan Gabriel, and then last year, Don. You're always leading with the quarterback. So this year, Kentucky in these broadcasts, they need to lead with quarterback because he's putting up numbers and they're scoring points. So that's really important. They need more to be good. And then maybe the most fascinating thing, one of the more fascinating kind of battles behind the scenes is just what happens QB2.
Yeah.
And then specifically when Ponatoski gets here, just how they kind of work through that. But that is kind of, I think, kind of your big picture or my big picture takeaway at quarterback. They need more to be good. And then QB2 is very fascinating because you've got Brennan Ward returning, Ja'Kai Long, who started games for Marshall last year, but has to progress as a passer. And then you've got this guy, Ponatoski, who I think has got a chance to be really, really good. And so how does that all kind of shake out? That'll be interesting to see behind the scenes.
It'll be here before you know it. Correct me if I'm wrong, look at 2 weeks away from spring practice. Is that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. 2
from
weeks. They'll be starting in 2 weeks. It looks like the week of the SEC tournament, I believe, is when they'll get rocking and rolling.
Oh man, are we gonna have pro day while Kentucky's getting ready to play in the SEC tournament?
I think they're gonna. I think they'll be out of. I think at worst they'll be an 8 seed, but
let's hope so.
We'll see.
Yeah,
my thing was they play 3 toss-up games. I don't think they're gonna lose them all. They lost one. It ended up being a complete toss-up at the end. So what do they do these next 2?
My thing is less about that and more about the other teams. Now, you're in this cluster for a reason because you can stub your toe, but their schedules are easier. I mean, so a lot's riding on, I feel like, on this Vanderbilt game. Win that one, and I'll be able to exhale a little bit better.
Well, there's a path. There's a path to the 4 seed if you win this one,
which is crazy.
Because all you need is Tennessee. All you need is Tennessee to lose one more game, and they still have to play Alabama and Vanderbilt.
Well, if I buy it. You're the SEC tournament tiebreaker guy. I tried doing that Sunday. It was not fun. Tyler and I had to put our brains together, and I was like, I guess I'll figure it out. And Tyler said, "This is what it is." I was like, I believe you. I'm going. It's a lot. So
it's getting easier now. It's easier now than it was early when it's just like, because now you've got more results banked. So it's easier to figure. Before you're doing projections, people are like, whoa, we beat Texas or something.
Yeah.
And I have to explain. I'm like, well, I'm using these projected results. And if you're doing this, it's a 5-way tie.
Right.
And it's one of those things you have to explain, and there's not a short, easy explanation.
Yes.
Like you lose people.
Mm-hmm.
So then they, like, by the time you're done talking, it looks like you've got 3 heads. And if you try to put it out in writing, it's too many letters right there. So it's now it gets a little easier because some situations have been eliminated, but there's still, to your point, a log jam, and it's not that like Tennessee's real close to being in this log jam. So in Arkansas, it's got to play Florida, and they lose that one probably on Saturday. Then they're in kind of a unique situation. I believe they've got Tennessee, they've got Missouri and Texas to close the year, and those aren't easy games. So it could get even crazier.
Crazy. We're ready for the crazy. We're embracing it all here on the KSR YouTube channel. Got some Zoom action coming at you tomorrow before the Cats take on the Commodores. What time's that tip-off Saturday? Is that
2 o'clock, ESPN.
Thank God. I hate Saturday night games. I mean, sometimes they make our jobs easier on Sunday, but I loathe them with the fire of 1,000 suns. So, yes, don't have to wait all day to watch the Cats. Hopefully they get it done against the Commodores. We'll be back next week with a lot more, and then we'll actually have some spring football to talk about. It's going to be a great time here on 11 Personnel. He's Adam Luckett. I'm Nick Roush. Go Cats and go Kroger.